Emerson College Roundtable podcast, we have 9 states in this week leading up to the midterm elections. We will be talking about Kansas, Oregon, Ohio, Texas, Connecticut, Maine, New Hampshire, Tennessee, and West Virginia. Starting off in Kansas, we have 2 interesting congressional races going on, potential Democratic pickups. First, in the 2nd district, this race actually has changed a little bit since the last time we polled it. We now have Steve Watkins, the Republican, pulling ahead of the Democratic challenger, Paul Davis. Right now, it's a 48 to 41 race with 8% of the vote still undecided. In the 3rd district, we have Sharice Davids, the Democrat, pulling ahead in this traditionally Republican district that actually voted for Clinton in 2016. She's at 55% against the current incumbent Republican representative Kevin Yoder, who is at 43%. We also have the gubernatorial race in Kansas, which is very, very close. Laura Kelly is trailing Kris Kobach by about 1%. Kelly's the Democratic state senator running, and Kobach is the current Secretary of State in Kansas, and he's up 1 point. Greg Orman is still in that race. He's the independent running, and he's taking about 8% of the vote, but that might tighten as the election day gets closer.
In Oregon, we also have another interesting gubernatorial race. We have Kate Brown versus Knute Buehler. And this is the first time Kate Brown has actually had to run for this position. You know, she was appointed before, so now we're going to see how she actually does in an election. This is a very close race. It's Brown's up by 5 points, but her favorability isn't amazing. She's 44% favorable, 46% unfavorable. Buehler's pretty close with that, 43% favorable and 35% unfavorable. And this is a state that Clinton won by 10 points, so we should see a Democrat with a higher lead than Brown has. So this may be a question of how well she can actually do in that state.
So moving into Ohio, we see a pretty close governor race between Richard Cordray and Republican Mike Dewine. So the Democrat Cordray is ahead currently at 49%, and his opponent Mike Dewine is at 46%. And also we have a Senate race going on in Ohio where we see the incumbent Democrat Sherrod Brown in a very safe position at 49%, and his opponent Republican Jim Renacci at 43%. So in the battleground state of Texas, we have Ted Cruz up by 3 points to his challenger, the El Paso representative Beto O'Rourke. So Beto O'Rourke is at 47%, and only 2% are undecided in this race. So this is going to be a really close race that we're going to be watching until Election Day.
So in Connecticut, the main takeaway here, Dan Malloy, not favorable. He's more unfavorable than Donald Trump in this state, 62% unfavorable, which is 4% higher than Trump. We're seeing it.
How is that factoring into the governor's race?
That's what I was about to go into, actually. That's hurting Ned Lamont a little bit. He's 46% with Bob Stefanowski at 39% and 5% undecided. In a major Democratic state like this, you'd, again, expect to see Lamont up a little more than that. But when you have the legacy of Malloy really dragging you down, it's going to be a little tougher for you. Legalizing marijuana, which has been a platform for Democrats in these midterms, and from our numbers, we're seeing that this would be a good platform to go on. We see 53% support legalizing marijuana for recreational use, and only 30% are opposing this.
The end of the semester and a new year, as far away as it seems, is right around the corner. Job opportunities, first impressions, and all of the career moments that matter, you need to make them count. The best way for new professionals to be seen as the real deal is a fresh custom business card from Vistaprint.
For the very low price of $10, you can have the confidence that you're ready to be seen in a new way. A custom card with the colors, fonts, designs, and images that you choose means you can look and feel like a big deal whether you're a new startup or a business with a century of history. And it doesn't have to be hard.
Creating a truly unique and polished business card has never been easier with Vistaprint. There are tons of simple tools to use and a wide range of templates to choose from.
To get started, you can create your own design, or you can choose one of the professionally designed options. There are dozens of designs that are just right for your business. And with a user-friendly interface, you can add your logo and contact information with just a few clicks. And now, you can use it on all your marketing going forward.
Next, choose the paper stock, style, and quantity that's right for you. Vistaprint uses only carefully selected inks and responsibly sourced paper stocks.
Once you have designed your card, all that's left is to choose your delivery speed, and you can receive your cards in as few as 3 days.
Know that with Vistaprint, your satisfaction is 100% guaranteed. If you're not happy, they can fix it, either by reprinting your order or offering a refund.
Vistaprint wants you to do something great for your business right now, which is why our listeners will get 500 high-quality custom business cards starting at $9.99.
Use code ECPP at Vistaprint.com. That's code ECPP at Vistaprint.com. ECPP at Vistaprint.com.
Get printing.
In another New England state, Maine, we looked at the governor's race, which had the Democrat Janet Mills, the Attorney General, currently up 50-42 against Sean Moody, businessman in Maine. Another very close race is the 2nd District congressional race between Bruce Poliquin, who's the incumbent Republican, and Jared Golden. We had Golden up 47-46, and the interesting thing about this race is that it's ranked choice for the first time, so that means voters have to rank all of the different candidates based on their how much they like them, basically. So this is a close race, swing race that could go either way at this point, very close. Then one issue question we asked in Maine was about whether people would be more or less likely to support Susan Collins in the future based upon her vote to confirm Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh.
I believe we asked Susan Rice versus Susan Collins, right? Battle of the Susans.
Yeah. And we found that it would be 37% are more likely to support her, and 47% are less likely to support Susan Collins in the future. So she
may not play so well in 2020 for her.
Yeah, she may be in trouble in 2020, but it's too early to tell. Then in New Hampshire, first district race between Chris Pappas and Eddie Edwards, which is a state where the Republicans are actually looking to take a seat back, possibly. We have Pappas up, the Democrat 48 to Edwards, the Republican 46. And then we also looked at the governor's race in New Hampshire, which had the Republican incumbent Chris Sununu up 51-43 against Molly Kelly. And compared to our last time we polled New Hampshire, both of those races are tighter than what we had before. We had Sununu up 16 a few weeks ago, Pappas up 5. So both
Definitely seems like things are tightening. Yeah.
So it seems like those could go either way.
Speaking of tightening up, Taylor Swift thought she could make a difference in the U.S. Senate race, but unfortunately our poll has found that to be untrue. The Senate
aren't coming out in big numbers.
The Swifties are not coming out in big numbers. Marsha Blackburn is still up. She has 52% over Phil Bredesen's 44%. When we asked voters if Taylor Swift's endorsement made a difference, only 34% said that they were less likely, 12% said that they were more likely, and 54%, the majority, said that it made no difference. So also we have a governor's race going on, but businessman Bill Lee seems to be safe. He is up 13 points.
Republican, right?
Republican Bill Lee, yes, going against
Carl Dean.
Going east of the Rust Belt, we have West Virginia, and that's also a very competitive Senate race, but we found that Manchin has a 5-point advantage over the Attorney General, Patrick Morrisey, and the interesting race there seems to be in the 3rd Congressional District with Richard Ojeda versus Carol Miller. Last poll, we had Ojeda up 3, but since then, Carol has been going on some rallies with Trump, and Trump does have a very high favorable, 56% favorable, 39% unfavorable in the state, so that helped Miller clearly. She's now 52%, 45%.
And if these 9 polls weren't enough for you, we are actually releasing 3 more tomorrow morning on Emerson Polling, and we'll be looking at Georgia, Wisconsin, and Iowa. All 3 really interesting states, really interesting governor's races in all 3 of the states. What do you think about Georgia, Lizzie?
Georgia, well, that's another very Trump-influenced governor's race with Kemp is up right now. We have the numbers we will be releasing tomorrow, but...
And in Wisconsin, things look a little bit better for the Democrats. Tony Evers is up in that race. And in Iowa, things kind of shift back, better for the Republicans. We have Kim Reynolds, the incumbent Republican, running for governor, up. And there are actually 2 interesting competitive congressional races in Iowa as well that the Democrats will be looking to pick up in. So you'll have to tune in at Emerson Polling tomorrow to get those results.
Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Emerson Polling, and subscribe to Emerson College Polling Weekly on iTunes, Stitcher, and the CLNS Media app.